Hey, hey, hey! You know what day it is? It's Tuesday Tea with DA. Tuesday Tea with DA. Tuesday Tea with DA. Tuesday Tea with D. Oh. Tuesday Tea with D. Oh. Tuesday Tea with D. Oh. Tuesday Tea with D. Hey, it's your girl, Detra Trueheart, your life purpose generator, purpose provoker, and iSpeaklife mentor with another message. I'm bringing you some tea on our weekly Tuesday Tea with D. And so today's conversation, we're talking about this specific topic or phrase where I'm challenging you to admit that you want it. Okay, let me take a little sip of this tea first. So good. This is a pomegranate tea, one of the teas that I got from Hilton Head, South Carolina, but I've been drinking all kinds of teas. But today in particular, I decided that I wanted the pomegranate because I did. So let's talk for a moment. Yesterday, I want to say, depending upon when you're watching it, it won't be yesterday, but I posted on TikTok a message around getting honest about what you really want. And I've actually done a YouTube, another Tuesday Tea with D, or maybe it was a LifeScope around asking you the question, what do you want? Do you know what you want? And I'll be sure to tag that in this so you can watch that as well. But one of the things that prompted that conversation or that post that I shared on TikTok was a conversation that I had last week with the ladies who had attended my Sabbath retreat in August. And one of the things, it actually was a reminder of another conversation that I had with one of the women who was one of my private one-on-one coaching clients. And there was a moment during our time while I was coaching her that she had come back to me like at our weekly session. And she said, I was in prayer and I was looking over the notes and looking over and thinking about our conversation. And I had to be honest with myself to admit that I wasn't really admitting that I wanted what God was putting before me and that I wanted what I had really desired. And she came back that week saying, I'm ready to admit that I want it. I'm ready to admit that I want everything that has my name on it. And I want to ask you the same question. I know that you know what you want, or maybe you don't. And if you don't, I would challenge you to go back to the what do you want video. And I also tagged the TikTok because I asked some questions in there as well around, asking yourself what you want, right? And so getting past the mindset blocks around whether you missed your time, whether you procrastinated, whether you're not qualified, all of the things that we think like, oh, or things that maybe other people have said, which I deal with in the other video. But I want you to take some time. I'm going to give you a journal assignment, but I'm going to talk about it now. Is I really want you to get a journal, a piece of paper, and I want you to think about what it is that you really want, like what you really want, like get honest about what you really want, right? Do you want a different job? Do you want to move to another space? Do you want to do more traveling? Do you want to make more money? Do you want to make a lot of money, right? What is it that you want? Do you want to be able to write checks to local organizations for doing things that you're very passionate about, right? Organizations that you support. Do you want to take naps in the middle of the day? What is it that you really, really, really want? And then I want you to take some time and I want you to admit it. Like, this is what I want. Like a lot of times we are suppressing our wants and our desires. And I know that for me specifically, as a Christian woman, there are multiple things that I have had to overcome from religious thoughts that were not biblical. That's a whole nother conversation, child. Okay. But there are things that we have put limits and limits on and boxes around that God never limited, specifically because he is a limitless God. And so the word is clear that if we delight ourselves in him, he will give us the desires of our hearts. My challenge to you is to start to explore what those desires are. And once you start to explore what those desires are, I want you to start admitting that you want them. Do you want a bigger house? Do you not want to live in the city anymore? Do you want to live in the suburbs? Do you want a really cute, fancy car? Do you want a real expensive car that most people be like, well, why would you even want that? That costs a whole lot of money, child. Let's block out. That's a blockage. That's a limiting block that we don't even want that, right? We're not receiving that, specifically if you got the money to pay for it. And so, what are the things that you have told yourself that you can't have because of whatever, right? I want you to take some time to admit that you want it, right? That you want to be able to travel, once a quarter or once a month or twice a year, that you want to, be able to, visit another country, that you want to be able to take the month off, that you want to be able to spend more time with your children, that like, what is it that you want, right? Get clear on what is it that you want, but then also take some time to admit what you want. Admit it. Be honest with yourself about it. And let me just tell you that the people are fired up over on that when I share this link to you on that TikTok post, because many of them are like, man, like I never thought about it. One person in particular was like, you know what? It took me for a loop because I'm not even sure what I want. I need us to start being clear on what we want. And that's what I do, right? As a coach, help you, get clear exactly on what you want, to get clear on those mindset blocks, to be able to press past your fears and to be able to be open and honest with yourself, right? About where you are, where you want to be, how we can bridge the gap, but then also where are you limiting yourself, right? Are you capping yourself? Are you putting yourself in a box? And if you are, I want to challenge you to burn the box, cut the box, throw the box away. But I also want to challenge you to take the limit off. There is no limit to what God can do in your life. There is no limit to what God can do for you. There is no, the only limits that there are the limits that you place on yourself, and to some extent that you place on God, that you talk yourself out of. And so that's really the tea for today. I just want you to start admitting what you want, right? It was interesting last night as I was sleeping, or as I was going to sleep, there were so many different things that were coming to my mind around things that I want and that I'm admitting that I wanted. There was a specific thing that I wanted. Then I said, and sometimes we want it, but we won't like act like we don't want it. Like, well, it's not that big of a deal. No, this thing was a big deal. And it literally was yesterday that I was like, okay, Lord, like I want this. Like this is what I want. This is what I'm asking for. And I believe that when I open myself up to it, that you'll do it. Right. And again, y'all, this is not genie in a bottle stuff. This is making sure that what we do is in alignment with the will of God, the word of God, all that kind of stuff, child. We not woo-wooing it. Okay. But at the same time, I believe that we have to come into alignment with what we want. We can't say we want it, but subconsciously don't believe we can have it. We can't say that we desire it, but subconsciously we're self-sabotaging it because we don't think we're qualified for it. And so I think when you start to admit that you want it, not that you're qualified for it, but that you want it. I want that job. I want that raise. I want to start a business. I want to grow my business. I want to make a lot of money in my business. I want to grow in my faith, right? I want to be able to learn the scriptures, in a way that I've never been able, like admit what you want and stop putting limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging beliefs right behind what you want, because that's a blockage. Let's remove those blocks. Let's open ourselves up and let's start seeing things start to come to fruition in a way that we've never seen them come to fruition, because we've now decided that we want to admit and be honest and transparent and vulnerable with ourselves around what we really want, right? I hear the spirit of the Lord for some, whoever this is watching at some point in time, that you've put a block around relationships because relationships has been a sore issue for you. And so there's a blockage for you because you really want a loving, committed relationship. You really want somebody who you can be transparent and vulnerable with. But because of past situations, there's been a block. And so I want you to not only say that that's what you want, but I want you to admit that you want it. And I want you to get clear on what that looks like. And then when you get clear on what it looks like, I want you to write it down, and I want you to leave yourself open to what it looks like, who that person is, what it feels like, what you can experience together. We're going to remove the blocks, right? Because there's no way for things to flow through effortlessly if there is a blockage. We're removing the blocks today. So I want you to admit what you want. And then I want you to tell me what you want. I want you to comment down below, email me, inbox me, or private message me on social media. Because I just believe that in this new season, God is honoring our words. And not only is He honoring our words, good, bad, or indifferent, but He's also honoring our intentions. And so, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's tea. I have a very important announcement. I'm really excited about this because this is the first one I've done in 4 years. I am bringing back iSpeaklife Live. Okay, that was just me. December 2nd through the 4th. And that says 2002. It's 2022. And so that change will be made. But I want you to save the date for December 2nd through the 4th of this year. It will be in Niagara Falls, here locally in Western New York. And I want to invite you to come. And so details will be released very soon, securing some things and finalizing some things as we speak. But this is the first event I've done in 4 years. And I really believe that it's going to be an amazing experience. The last event I did was a 1 day event. Most of my events have been 1 day, they've been half days. But this is a full, I've done 3 day virtual events. And so I'm actually bringing that experience in person. And so I want to personally invite you to save the date. If you are away, I want you to just basically book your ticket now because you know where it is and you know when it is. And then you can register when registration is released. And so I would encourage you to make sure you're on my email list, make sure you're a part of my text messaging community because it will go out to them first. It will go out to my community first. It will go out to my clients first. It will go out to past attendees first, and then it will go out to the public. And so if you want first access and first dibs to tickets and to be able to register, then I would encourage you to do that. And so, with that being said, you have an amazing day, have an amazing week. I look forward to seeing you in December, but most importantly, I look forward to seeing you next week for another edition of Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. So good. All right. You have an amazing day, an amazing week, and I will see you soon. Take care.